The next topic in the worm gear is the friction in worm gear. Now the friction in worm gear is different part. So we know that the worm and worm wheel are having a sliding motion between them. So this create a friction, or you can say the rubbing speed is there. So rubbing speed is the relative velocity between the worm and the worm wheel. So the velocity triangle is prepared here, that is V1, V2 and Vs. Let's see the velocity triangle, that is V1 is the pitch line velocity, V2 is the pitch line velocity of the worm wheel, and Vs is the rubbing velocity. So V1 is stand for the worm and V2 stand for the worm wheel, and Vs is the rubbing velocity. So the pitch line velocity of the worm is given by the formula which we used. It is pi d1 pi dn by 16 10 to the power 3, or you can say the t1 n1 for the worm. Now from the velocity triangle, Vs is equal to Vn cos of gamma, and Vs is equal to pi d1 n1 upon 60,000 cos of gamma. So the variation of the coefficient of friction with respect to the rubbing velocity is shown in figure. A figure is being generated here for understanding the relation. So coefficient of friction at this side, it is at the y-axis, and rubbing speed at the x-axis. You can see this, at the rubbing speed increases, the coefficient of friction also decreases. Here the coefficient of friction is high at 0, and it is decreasing as the speed increasing. Now it is done with two assumptions, that the worm wheel is made of phosphor bronze while the worm is made of case hardened steel. Okay, worm wheel made of phosphor bronze and worm is made of case hardened. So gear are lubricated with mineral oil with a viscosity of 16 to 130 centistone, and the efficiency of the gear drive is given by power output upon power input. So we put the values, that is P2 tangential load into D2 by 2 into N2, that is force into perpendicular distance into number of speeds, okay, for the worm wheel and upon the worm. So by solving this, that is N2 upon N1 is equal to 1 upon I, that is the speed ratio, or you can say the velocity ratio. So D2 is what m z2, and D1 is what m into q. Z2 by q is equal to, and if you divide by z1 from both sides, that is numerator and denominator, we get z2 by z1 upon q by z1 is equal to I of 10 of gamma. So efficiency is 10 gamma into cos of alpha cos of gamma minus mu sine of gamma. By solving this term trigonometrically, we find this value, that efficiency is nothing but cos of alpha minus mu tan of gamma upon cos of alpha plus mu cot of gamma. So the spur gear helical wheel gear having a efficiency of 98 to 99%, but in worm gear you will find a efficiency between 50 to 98%. Okay, so in general the worm is the driver and the worm wheel is the driven member, and the reverse motion is not possible, and this is called a self-locking device. So if the coefficient of friction is greater than tangent of lead angle, that is the friction angle is more than the lead angle, at that time self-locking condition is there. So another is the reversible or overrunning condition or back driving. In this type of drive, the worm and worm wheel can drive each other. If the driven machinery has large inertia and if the driving power supply is cut off suddenly, the worm is freely driven by the worm wheel. This prevents the damage to the drive and the source of the power also. If suppose a sudden power supply is cut off, at that time worm wheel helps to maintain that thing. So this drive is said to be reversible if the coefficient of friction is less than the tangent lead angle. At that time only this can happen. That is mu should be less than 10 of gamma. At that time we can find out these types of structure. So this is how we done in the friction and worm gear. Okay, thank you very much.